Hey guys, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about my face and your face and everyone's face and communication styles and the right that every person has to express themselves in their own style. And so, speaking of communication styles, everyone's communication style is a little bit different, obviously. And one's way of communicating, it's built upon a foundation of a lot of different things. Genetics plays a role in your communication style. How you grew up plays a role in your communication style. Who you're with and the subject you're talking about plays a role in your communication style. Your current mood plays a role in your communication style. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play. And people communicate in all sorts of different ways. And the thing about communication is it is incredibly varied. The way one speaks, their body language, the inflections of their voice, all comes into play with communication. And you can't take a data set from one person and what their communication means in a given situation and apply that to another person and make assumptions on the other person because it's so different. And so, why am I talking about this and what's the point? Well, admittedly, part of the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm tired of people bringing up the fact that I don't smile very often. And I admit it, it finally, after 6.5 years, has begun to bother me. And I wouldn't have said anything if it weren't for the fact that I thought maybe I could say something that would be useful. Because the fact of the matter is, none of us should be telling another person what to be doing with their face. When you tell someone else to smile, and I'm going to use the example of smiling because that's what's been brought up to me. But it could be any expression, really. But when you tell someone to smile, you are asking them to change their communication and to package it into a box that makes you more comfortable. So what are you doing? You're asking them to change how they communicate for your comfort. That's not cool. It's just not. When you ask someone to do that, you're saying that instead of putting forth the time and effort to understand how they themselves communicate, instead of trying to gain that understanding, you would just like them to communicate in the way that you believe they should be. And while that may seem very harmless, and in some instances it may be, generally speaking, when you're communicating in a way that's comfortable to you and someone asks you to communicate differently, it's incredibly invalidating because you're undermining the foundation on their communication. For instance, me, I don't wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't. I don't wear my happy emotions on my sleeve. I don't wear my mad emotions on my sleeve. I don't wear excitement on my... I don't wear any... Literally, there's no emotion that I wear hanging out for the world to see. It's not who I am. Part of it could be genetic. Part of it is that my brain is wired incredibly binary, black, white. I'm incredibly logical. Things come in analog and they come out digital. It's who I am. Does that mean I don't have feelings? Of course not. Does it mean I don't have empathy and I can't understand? Of course not. It just means that's who I am and it's how I communicate. And, another foundation from which my communication style is formed is my history. My family history, my growing up history, my history as a young adult up until now has created a communication style in me that is very contemplative, reflective. I try to think before I speak, and I really try to get all the pieces in before I put pieces out, because I'm very aware of how words can affect people. I'm incredibly aware of that. And so to take it out of the personal and put it more widespread across everything, it's just not a good idea to put people in boxes. Boxes, including boxes of communication, even if the stereotypical reaction to happy is big smile, it doesn't mean that should be expected from everyone. Boxes are constricting. Boxes are uncomfortable. And when you ask someone to pop their communication into a box, what you're going to get is an inauthentic version of that person. And I don't think that's really what any of us or most of us want. I think we want to receive an authentic version of a person, their most authentic version. And so, while it's easy to see someone's face when you think it should have a certain reaction, and it's easy to say, hey, I see this and this and this and this, you should be smiling. That's easy to say. I'm presenting, perhaps choose the harder route of trying to get to know the person and understand the subtleties of their personal communication style. Because here's what I know about people that don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. They often speak more and with more depth than the people that wear their emotions out there. Because every time something does come out, it's something that has been filtered and processed and thought about. And it doesn't mean that everything that comes out is marvelous, because that certainly isn't the case with me. But it does mean that there is more to glean from them than simply the look upon their face. So, why don't I smile? The simple answer is, it's not who I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. Peace.